You're listening to Radio Blah Blah with Jeff and Jeff.
Here it is, yet another episode of Radio Blah Blah, coming to you from two great Canadian guys, Jeff Scott and
Jeff Craig. Cool Uncle
Where are you,
Jeff.
Jeff?
I'm laughing because I'm a great Canadian guy.
You are. Well, you're a Canadian.
I'm a Canadian.
So we're 75% Canadian and 25% American.
I'm just enough American that I got to file friggin' tax returns down there. That's all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pain in the
It's
ass.
absolutely.
You got to do too.
They're never going to get a cent for me, and I'm never going to get a cent for them. So all it means is it costs me money every year to get my taxes done.
Holy crap!
Hallelujah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah, what's our topic today, Jeff?
My topic for today is renouncing my U.S. citizenship to save money.
Okay.
$2,700 American to do that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, I figured it out. I'm better off keeping it.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah. So topic today, you and I have been talking for a while now about bands that people love that are popular for people to like, and or bands that we think are overrated.
Overrated. So tired of overrated bands.
Yeah,
And not just bands, but musicians or songwriters or singers. Yeah. And let's start with the one that I love to hate the most.
Who's that?
Bob Dylan. He and me. Everybody loves Bob Dylan.
It's Radio Blah Blah.
It's Radio Blah Blah. I think I'll take out my harmonica.
I gotta get some powder and put it on my face.
Okay, look, Bob Dylan, great writer. There's the best way I like a Bob Dylan song is when someone else records it. So, if the Byrds want to do Bob Dylan, that's great. You've just made a great song.
Yeah.
I appreciate his writing and his poetry, but I cannot listen to him. I'm sorry. He played Harbor Station here sometime in the last 10 years, and the thing on everyone's lips for a couple of weeks was, "You going to see Dylan? You going to see Dylan?"
Yeah.
No. And you know what? The people that went, they said that was the worst thing you ever saw. People left, and they're still shitting over Dylan.
He doesn't really care, I don't think. He just does his own thing. I think we missed an era though too. I think that in order to appreciate Dylan, I'm with you on this one, by the way. I've never been a Dylan fan. I never got it. But I think just because we missed the era, when the singer-songwriter of the 60s, the Flower, the protest music. Is he okay? I think he's okay, but I don't get the hero status that someone like him gets.
Well, he had a following. I think that just got totally blown way out of proportion, and the fact that other people were recording his stuff. He's almost like a Springsteen in a way.
Oh, well,
some people became famous just making someone else's song.
See, to me, you just went to Springsteen, and that's where I was going to go. Springsteen is my Dylan.
I love Springsteen much more than I would ever like Bob.
I don't know. Springsteen to me is like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this. I don't dislike all of these artists. I just don't get why they're as big as they are. Or why people go gaga.
With Dylan, him and Leonard Cohen. Holy crap! I think the worst thing, that scene in Clockwork Orange where the guy is forced to sit back and they hold his eyes open while he's forced to listen to classical music and look at disturbing images. I think the worst thing you could do to me is lock me in a chair and force me to listen to Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen. I would go crazy within 10 minutes.
I'm telling about the Cohen comment. I'm telling.
Hey, now here's the thing about Cohen. I got involved in a Cohen tribute sometime in the last 10 years.
What the hell was that?
Well, it was just a bunch of musicians who were doing an afternoon of Leonard Cohen music. And so I had to learn X number of songs on guitar. And, I enjoyed the event very much so, and I really enjoyed the other people playing, and I had a whole new appreciation for his music. But like Dylan, the guy shouldn't be anywhere near a microphone. He can write all the poetry he wants, but oh man,
I haven't really listened to. Like you said before, I haven't really listened to enough of it, but the style of it, I guess. Like I said, just Dylan for sure. But Springsteen to me is like it's not that I don't like Bruce Springsteen. I actually like some of his songs. I just like he was supposed to be like I remember he was supposed to be the next Elvis kind of thing. Like he was going to be the big rock star in the late '70s, and never really panned out. I mean, he had probably his biggest hit was probably Born in the USA. Right, and interestingly, and had Born. What was the other one he had?
I was going to say Born to Run.
Well, Born to Run, but Born in the USA.
Born to Run is listenable. Born in the USA is not.
Well, I'm just saying. It's like I just didn't. I don't dislike Bruce Springsteen. I just don't get. He's one of those guys that think, oh yeah, man, Springsteen's great, And I'm sure there are some people. There's some people. He's called. Oh, is Bruce calling now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave me alone, Bruce. He's pissed at me now.
We haven't set up the lines yet, listeners, for calling.
He's pissed at me. I know. I did last time I talked about him. I got a phone call from him. Anyway, but I just don't get. I get. It's this is what this is about for me. It's like the superstar status with. I think it's pretty good. But I don't get the whole. Brouhaha.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that one. I think Springsteen's fame and following is almost proportional to what he did. In fact, I'm almost surprised that there are not more people talking about Springsteen. So, is he underrated? I don't know. I mean, to me, just his body of work and his quality of songwriting and his attention to musical detail, like those little bells in Born to Run, to me that's so musical, and it just adds so much to it. His use of Clarence Clemens. His use of everyone, Steve Van Zandt. I really appreciate what Springsteen did, and I would have never really come down hard on Springsteen the way I would say Dylan.
I wouldn't come down hard on him. It's just it made me think of Springsteen. That's all. It's the same for the same reason. Again, I don't think there's any bands on this. I have a list here. I don't think there's any bands in here that I don't like. It's just like I said. I just don't quite get what the big thing is, right?
They've got the following.
Like me, it's like the more recent band would be like Coldplay.
Yeah.
I kind of like some of their songs.
Well, see, I really appreciate that vocalist. First time I heard the name Coldplay, I thought it was a stupid name. I thought, what the friggin', who would name their band Coldplay? And people just were talking about it so much. But when I finally heard Coldplay, I said, okay, now I know what the appeal is. I like their use of instrumentation, and I like their the vocalist. But I'm not a huge follower of Coldplay at all. Yeah, I hear enough of it on the radio to get my share.
Oh, listen, there's the odd song that they do that I enjoy. I guess I just wouldn't. I guess I just wouldn't give them. I wouldn't see them having superstar status, or anything like that.
Well, let me ask you this: Did Radiohead make your list?
Yeah, well, they're on my list because they keep coming up on everybody else's list. Like when I did some research this morning, and top 10 influential artists or top 100 influential artists, and this band keeps coming up on this list. Yeah. And I'm thinking, first of all, okay, so how big is your body of work to start with? Like how many, and then, I mean, the only song I know about from Radiohead is Creep. And
see, I couldn't tell you one Radiohead song, and see, this is where I'm going to look really uncool, because it seems like everybody loves Radiohead.
Well, that's pretty normal.
I'm not. I just got so much else going on. When I turn on the radio, I'm not hearing it on the radio. Maybe they do get radio play. I don't know, but I don't know them, and I certainly haven't bought their material. I haven't sought out their material, and to me, they're just one of those bands that's on everybody's lips, but I just haven't even heard them, and I can't criticize at all for a band I've heard absolutely 0% of their work. So it's something I really should check out before I make any kind of.
That's okay. This is just opinions, right? Because I can only really say I've heard one of their songs, and that's kind of my point. And even that one song, I'm sure you've heard "Creep." I mean, it's "I'm a creep." And it's I can't even sing it, but it's even that one song though. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to hear that song." "Creep" is a great song. I think that's pretty good. It's just not. It's not great, and that's why but they keep making these lists. I think sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it gets back to something you mentioned on an earlier show is bands that are cool to like.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody, if you're cool, you like Radiohead.
You like Radiohead, and they make these.
And
lists.
It sounds like a cool name, and the people I meet who like Radiohead are cool people. So am I missing out on something here? Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's not that. I think that's the thing, is that it's not that I don't. It's just where they consistently rate. Sometimes people get a reputation, and
Yeah.
and it happens with people too. People are overrated too, and they people in real life.
If you think back to high school and you think about those people that were just super uber cool,
Yeah.
right? And then you're thinking, 20, 30 years later, why? Why was that person so
Well,
super uber cool?
I mean,
Sometimes it was just a name. They had a really weird name.
Oh.
Or in our case, living in Gander, Newfoundland, we got a lot of people whose parents were involved with the military, so they came through.
Right.
They might have been German, they might have been American, they might have been from anywhere in Canada, and they were there for 2 or 3 years and then reposted again. And for some reason, just coming from away made you super uber cool.
Right. Well,
So it's funny.
I ran into that
You know?
my whole life. When I was, when
Yeah.
I was growing up, I used to play in sports, and I moved around, and I'd always run up against someone. Oh yeah, this guy's a really good shortstop. Like he's the best shortstop, and they never even see me play.
Yeah.
And then this person would always get the benefit of the doubt. So these things happen. Like we do. We have we have halo effects, right, in
Yeah.
life, and it works the other way too, right? But these are some of those bands that I think that have that halo effect. Like Coldplay's that way. Like you must have heard of Mary J. Blige.
Yes.
Everybody talks about her like she's the next second coming of the
Tina Turner?
well, I don't know. But I guess I mean, again, I'm not in that genre. But whenever I've seen her perform,
To me, she's just like one of those people who wins a Grammy and you don't know why.
and everybody goes.
That's a category, right?
There's all these
People
people
win
yeah.
Grammys and you don't
oh
know
yeah,
why.
Mary J. Blige is awesome. She's fantastic. I'm thinking, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and I watch her sing. I
Yeah.
think, okay, that's all right. It's like there's a whole bunch of artists that are just like that. And
Yeah.
I tell you one that I think is way overrated and gets too much credit for being influential is Nirvana.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that has to do with Kurt Cobain's death. However, I witnessed the Nirvana phenomenon
Me too.
before he died.
Yeah.
I was teaching junior high school at the time, and those kids just loved Nirvana.
Mhm.
My God, did they ever love
Yeah.
Nirvana? And when their last album came out, with Heart Shaped Box,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to like Heart Shaped Box, and I'm thinking, I don't know, it's there's something about it that's palatable, and there's something about it that kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I'm thinking, why are these people so huge? I mean, are they the fathers of grunge? I don't know what it is about Nirvana.
Well, I actually liked Heart Shaped Box, and it's not that it's not that I didn't like the music. It was a departure from what was going on at the time. Like you remember at the time, actually Guns N' Roses and Nirvana were pretty similar time frames.
Very similar, but so different in
Yeah,
style.
a little bit maybe, but it was sort of like the anti-hair metal, the anti-poison, the anti,
Well, they weren't pretty boys. Look with lipstick.
right. And I think that was part of it, but it wasn't. It's not the fans that I get. Like it's the media or the bodies that the historians who always go back and give them so much credit for changing the direction of things, and I'm not so sure they did. And it's more about that. And in fact, again, because Kurt killed himself, they limited their influence because their body of work is limited. I would argue that Dave Grohl, the drummer, right, and his work independently, and including the Foo Fighters, was far more influential to today's artists than Nirvana is, in terms of everybody wants to play with Grohl. Everybody wants to do stuff with him. Everybody from Corey Taylor, from Slipknot to you name it. Everybody wants to play with well, what's his name? Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick played on on a track with Corey Taylor.
Okay.
With Dave Grohl, and I think he was. I think in terms of body of work and influence and more people.
And who expected that out of a drummer?
Well,
no one knew Dave Grohl could do that. No one knew that he was a singer, songwriter, and guitar player. I mean, everyone just saw.
Right.
Well, you look at a band like Nirvana. When Kurt leaves this earth, you're thinking, well, what are the other two guys going to do? You can't do Nirvana without Kurt. But then Dave Grohl just comes out of nowhere with Foo Fighters, and he's been one of the most influential and successful musicians of the last 20 years.
I think he was the most talented person in that band.
Probably, yeah.
Well, Kurt Cobain, from a guitarist perspective, was not a good.
Well, as a writer too. I mean, you know what I appreciate more is the MTV Unplugged with Nirvana.
I do.
You know, just using acoustic guitars, and that's where you really see what Kurt can do.
I do, but he's very, very rudimentary too. Like in sense of, like I'm saying, like from a musician's perspective, he's not a great musician. He writes neat songs. He writes emotional songs. But guitar playing, I mean, some of the lead guitar parts that he do, so he's not exactly.
Well, there's a sloppiness to it too, but I think that's what makes it a little bit endearing too, is the little bit of sloppiness he throws in.
Yeah, so as you look at, but I'm thinking, that's what I'm saying though, is that as okay, so does he influence musicians? No. He influenced
a generation, not musicians. I don't think anyone in that band will be remembered for their musicianship. But the movement that they made, that's what they'll be remembered for.
Yeah, and I mean, see, that's the thing, is I don't know. I think there was something there. Like, you think of the bands that were out at the same time as they were, Soundgarden, and, there's a whole bunch of other bands that were out at the same time. I just think they get more credit to changing things than they actually did. I think there's more. I think there was a bunch of other stuff going on at the same time that was similar, that came out of that Seattle market.
The Offspring, Silverchair.
Yeah, well, Pearl Jam they came out of the same market. They
were both from Seattle, weren't they?
Yeah, and I do think that, what was this? I said, like, the Soundgarden was another one, and there's a bunch of bands that came out around that same time that were doing the same kind of thing. Yeah. But Nirvana got the credit for it, and they're the one that had the hit. Mm-hmm. So I don't. Anyway, that's why I was kind of like, to me, nothing against them, but I have no interest in learning the music, to be honest with you.
No.
On guitar.
Well, you mentioned Pearl Jam, and I'm just wondering. I don't know. I never really cared for Pearl Jam. They had a unique sound.
Yeah.
I had one of their CDs, but couldn't really get into it. I listened to it as much as I wanted to listen to it, and then I never listened to it again.
Yeah, I kind of like the early stuff a little bit. That they used to, remember when we used to play guitar together. They used to have some video, like Jeremy. I like the song Jeremy a lot.
Yeah, that was on the album I had.
Yeah, the video. I think the video for that was very cool, and they did.
But do they still have this really strong following?
Even Flow. They still play. They're still all over the place now. They just never stopped. I just never.
Well, let's talk about these super duper huge bands with huge followings.
Like who?
I just don't get it. Let's bring up the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, you're a Deadhead. Whoa, you're a super cool person.
I think
I'm inviting you to my barbecue.
Yeah, I think that's what that's about. I mean, the only song I've ever really heard was Truckin'.
Yeah. Well, they weren't a hit band.
No.
Very similar, in a similar vein, is a band called Fish.
Oh yeah.
Has this.
Yeah.
If you're a Deadhead, you're also a Fish head.
Yeah.
So they're like the same band, only with a slightly different sound, and same followers, only they're 25 years younger. I don't know. Some of these bands just have these weird followings, and I don't.
The Grateful Dead, I tried listening to the music different times. It never really resonated with me. And again, I don't disagree with you on that one. I think that the Grateful Dead were, but I do think it was kind of recognized with the Grateful Dead that there was, like I said, there was a cult following as opposed to a mainstream following.
Yes.
But I still never really got it, right? I listened to it, I don't really get it, right? But I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I have a big one that a lot of people say they like, and I'm not sure they do. I'm not sure why. And this one's not going to be popular. There's so many people that say they're Ramones fans.
Yeah, because it's cool to be a Ramones.
Absolutely.
Right at a Ramones.
I like Romaine.
It's cool to be a Ramones fan. Yeah. Well, I mean, punk gets its own little bit of respect. It's like the Dead Kennedys.
Yeah. Yes.
The Misfits. Okay, so you show up with a Dead Kennedys T-shirt on.
Yeah.
You show up with a Misfits T-shirt on, and that's my badass showing.
Yeah. I don't know. I listen to some.
Punk has its place. I can listen to one or two punk songs every odd year, and I'm done.
And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like the Ramones, because I actually haven't listened to that much of it because I haven't been able to. Because when I listen to it, it's like Blitzkrieg Bop,
Broken Glass,
Blitzkrieg Bop, and I just it's too simple for me, and it doesn't. I think it's meant to be played live. I think it doesn't. I don't think it translates.
Exactly. It's the kind of thing whereas if you go to the show and you're part of that culture, and they're on stage just going ape shit, and the audience is
Yeah.
bopping up and down going ape shit, and that's a fun event, and I can appreciate that. No, I don't have any Ramones albums in my collection,
No, I don't.
and I only know a handful of Ramones songs. But you know, when one of the Ramones died there a few years
Right.
ago, you know, the whole
Yeah.
Facebook community is weeping like they'd lost their own dad.
But they weep over everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chachi died.
Who?
I just made that up. Chachi.
Chachi.
Yeah, you know the guy from Happy Days.
Did he die?
No, but if he did, they'd be going, oh.
Yes. Yeah. So sad.
So
The
sad.
day the
Chachi
music
died. What's Joni gonna do?
Oh yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking
What
about.
am I gonna do now?
Joni loves
Chachi's-
Chachi.
Chachi's dead. Oh my God! But the Ramones, it's funny because I actually, did you ever listen to the Sex Pistols?
That's yes. I've heard it.
There was only one
There's a
album,
difference-
right?
There's a difference between listening to and have heard.
That's just true.
Yeah, I've heard Sex Pistols. Yeah.
Remember we were talking about my friend coming back from Ontario in one of our shows about the bands he brought back with him, like Gatto and Max Webster and but he also brought back Nevermind the Bollocks with the Sex Pistols, and I hated it. Like when I was
Outside the Quine.
Cold Side the Quine, it's like, EMI. I just didn't get it. Just didn't
Yeah,
get
see,
it.
that takes you right back to university. I was in a residence at Memorial University in St. John's, Newfoundland, and there was a guy who played that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to destroy it.
Now, I didn't like it then. I didn't like it then, but now
I kind of like the riffs. The bit I was hearing on
Steve
guitar, and I
Jones.
can remember I had a guitar, and I was trying to pick up a few of the riffs that they were doing. Yeah,
the guitar playing is actually kind of good, and like it's kind of neat little riffs, and I kind of like it more now than I did then. It's like I can God say the first I just couldn't get over the God say the Queen. It's the fastest regime. I just couldn't get over that punky way of doing.
Now, did you say they only had one album?
Yeah, never mind the bullets.
Really? That surprises me. I thought they had.
Well, they
this.
just pretty much imploded after they first started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's that whole
But that's the band with Sid Vicious and
Yeah.
Johnny Rotten and okay.
Yeah, Johnny
I thought they
Rotten,
were-
Sid Vicious. They did the
Oh, I
whole
thought
thing.
they were bigger than one album.
No.
Anyway, what do I know about
Well,
them?
they weren't, and they, I mean, Johnny Rotten. I think he did some things afterwards, but of course, Sid Vicious died, I think, or committed suicide or something, and
Yeah.
very shortly
Yeah,
thereafter.
that's
But they weren't. They were like they're not a band that. Well, I don't know if they got credit for it or not, but they.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Okay,
Were they British or American?
they were Scottish.
another Scottish
No, they're not
band.
Scottish. They're from the UK.
Oh, they're
They're from
British, okay.
Britain, London area.
That's what I assumed,
They're from
yeah.
Britain. Yeah, I don't know if they're
God
London.
save the Queen!
But the Anarchy in the UK, a lot of covers. A lot of people covered them. Megadeth covered them. Motley Crue covered them.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh shit!
Oh, what?
Oh, nothing. I got a cramp in my leg.
Did you burn
when
yourself
those
or?
when one of those cramps just kind of comes out of nowhere. So I've been sitting in this.
That's the
chair
name of
for
a
too
band,
long.
The Cramps.
The Cramps.
How would you
yeah.
like to be in the band called The Cramps?
Oh, excuse me.
That's amazing. That was like I would hate to be in a band called The Cramps.
That's like no different than the Shits. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the name of your band? Diuretic Euphoria. Yeah. No, The Cramps. Ugh.
The Cramps.
That's right. Period. Call myself Period.
Yeah.
Ouch. Ouch. Here's a big one that you could get.
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s, there was always people around me says, "Oh yeah, what do you listen to?" "Oh yeah, I'm a big Doors fan." I was never. I don't,
See, I saw that on your list, and man, I don't know. I gotta. Oh, yeah,
Come
I
on,
I
touch
love
me,
the Doors.
babe. And they were thought to be like hard rock in the late 60s.
I don't know if they were considered hard rock as much as
Some
they just
sort of
looked at Jim
heavy.
Morrison and thought, "Wow, is this guy ever original?" And
The live shows
the
were a little
women,
bit,
the
but-
women loved him, and I'm sorry, Raymond Zarek on keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a keyboardist in rock history can do what he does.
Well, he played bass at the same time, right?
He played bass. They had no bass player.
Right.
He played bass lines with the left hand,
But it was.
while he played leads with the right hand.
It was.
I really enjoyed the Doors. They had this weird following.
Yeah.
Like you were saying in the 80s, I can remember in high school, everyone was the Doors.
Yeah,
the Doors,
that's my
the Doors.
thing, right?
And when I checked out the Doors, I come to realize, there's something pretty
But it
unique and special going on.
Makes me think of Frank Sinatra. Like, come on, come on, come on, touch me, babe. It's I'm not afraid.
Well, you can just hear Tony Bennett doing
Well,
it. He
that's
does
right.
these albums of rock and roll covers, right? You can just hear
Yes,
him doing that. Right?
exactly. Like, you're in the Psycho Circus. Hey. That's the thing about the Doors, was it didn't fit for me. Like the Jim Morrison image and his voice just didn't fit.
Well, some of the tunes when I started listening to the Doors, I thought, really, this is kind of weird. Like all that organ. I was like, am I in church,
Yes.
or am I at home listening to a rock
Yeah.
album? You almost looking at Morrison, half naked on the front cover of an album. You almost expected something a little more hard rock. Maybe it's something a little more Deep Purple or Black Sabbath,
yeah.
and you put it on, you hear this church organ.
they'd rip. I mean, he every once in a while he would do some screaming and things like that, like for him, and that fit for me in the genre. It was just the other stuff that was just so 60s, like I said, like Las Vegas, bar singer kind of stuff, right? That I didn't really appreciate, and but that was the one. I just remember there was all these people that were my age, and the Doors were definitely had come and gone prior to my interest in music. But there was a whole bunch of people my age who were like, "Oh yeah, I love the Doors." I just didn't understand why.
And in 1989, Oliver Stone made a film about the Doors, and I'm thinking, I enjoyed it because I enjoy rock and roll. I enjoy, the politics of the band behind the scenes. If it's a band I enjoy, and I almost want to see more biopics about bands. You don't get them. Have they made a movie about the Rolling Stones? No. I think the Stones are bigger than the Doors. Have they made movies about, I know they made movies about Elvis and the Beatles, but you don't get a lot of those movies about bands, and I really enjoyed the movie The Doors.
Did you see that?
I wish they'd make more. I wish they'd make more like that.
Did you see that Martin Scorsese and Mick Jagger are producing an HBO TV show now called Vinyl? About rock, about like 60s rock bands and stuff like that. So it's a fiction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned something you said there made me think of that. I can't remember.
Oliver Stone.
Oh, that's
and
what it was.
Doors.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're co-producing this together.
Scorsese and Jagger.
Yeah.
We could do a show on weird combinations of.
That's a good idea.
Like Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. We did
weird pairings.
Well, we talked about David Bowie and
Mick Jagger.
No, and
Annie Lennox.
And
what?
Yeah, remember?
David
Come,
Bowie.
they told me.
Oh yes, and Bing. Yeah,
Bing.
There's an odd one.
Pum-pum-pum-pum. Pum-pum-pum-pum.
Yeah. I mean, every now and again, some producer says, "Wouldn't it be cool to put this person and that person together?"
Yeah.
Because they're so different, or one is so popular and it will help the career of the other one, or whatever. You get these weird pairings. Anyway, there's a show for the future.
That's a good idea. I like that show.
Yeah.
What do you? Now, I never got the.
But getting back to these bands that
Yeah.
are overrated, who else is on your list?
Oh, I was going to say, another one on my list is Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. No, I mostly what I found Prince to be was sleazy.
Prince, you know what? Prince almost defined a whole new groove and sound in the 80s, which I kind of liked.
The whole Sheila E. drum kind of thing, and
just this whole.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not
You
good.
know-
I just, when I say I have a thing about this, is that they always kind of put Prince up there with people like Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. Was he a top of the market artist at the time? Yeah.
See, I've often asked, like, could Michael Jackson actually play any instruments? I mean, how does he write these songs? Can he actually sit at a piano and work out chords? I have no idea what Michael Jackson can do, and yeah, he's got a huge following. I don't. The difference between, I don't think Michael Jackson is overrated, no more than I think Prince is overrated. Thing with Michael Jackson is that I just don't like what he does. I appreciate what he does, And I appreciate those people who follow him and enjoy him, but it's not my cup of tea.
No,
at
but
all.
I get why. But
I
I get
never
it.
liked that 70s, 80s funk,
No, but I get why he.
pop Motown funk that he was doing.
But I get why he was superstardom and why everybody was sort of like gaga over Michael Jackson, because of the the videos and and the superlative talent. But I just said, remember, overrated. I don't. Again, Prince. It's not that I didn't like it. I actually enjoyed his videos when they were coming out at the time. I just didn't see them. I just never put him in that. I think sometimes people grab onto these artists and they make more of them than they are. And I just think he was always made more of than he really was. Like when he was the artist formerly known as Prince, then I knew then I knew why he was important, but I didn't know it up until that point.
now he's the artist formerly known as the artist formerly
known as. Yeah, I think he's a semicolon now.
Yeah,
but he was. I don't really know, and I think he's still there. And I think if you look for a pool of grease somewhere, you'll find him.
Well, they were talking to the guy who made that film Clerks and Mallrats. What's his name? Smith?
Oh God, I don't know.
Anyway, he's a Hollywood director. I can't think of his name now. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. But anyway, they were interviewing this guy, and they said, "What about the time you worked with Prince?" And he just starts chuckling. He said, "Are you ready for an hour-long story?" And it was just one of these, question and answer kind of interviews, like with an audience, like an interactive, intimate and interactive. And he goes into a story. It's a fascinating story, but in a nutshell, he talked about how Prince hired him to come in and do this film on his ranch or estate or Graceland or whatever, fortress of solitude that Prince lives in.
Yeah.
And he spent an awful lot of time there, but he could never speak directly to Prince. He always had to speak to these these managers and lawyers or whatever. And one of the things he learned, two things, this film that he made with Prince will never ever see the light of day. And the other thing he learned is that Prince has this vault of full albums, full videos, full concerts that will never ever see the light of day. He's made these videos that never ever got released, and they never will be. They're just these things that he keeps hidden. And then he started talking about all the weird things that Prince does, and I'm thinking, well, Prince comes across as this sort of odd little man with this weird kind of, and it's true, because this guy Smith just basically, the stories he told about, like the things that he would do were just weird, like really, not like I'm a rock star and I can do anything. I can smash my TV and throw it out the window and ha ha ha, and I can get all kinds of girls and I can just be a total hedonist until my money runs out. It wasn't that. He just did really weird, strange things. Like at 3 a.m, he'd phone up his assistant looking for the weirdest thing ever imaginable, and it's just these stories. So it was an interesting interview to hear this guy talk about the life inside Prince's domain. And he is a weirdo, there's no doubt about it.
Well, when you were talking about the things that you can't look at and you can't see, that are never going to get the light of day, I had a flashback to the scene of Spinal Tap when
you
when
can't even
Nigel's,
touch
you
that
can't just, can I look at? No, don't even look at it.
Look at it.
See, this one here, it's even got the tagger on it. It's still got the tagger on it. Can I touch it? No, you can't touch it.
Can't be played.
It can't be played ever. It's just, you hear that? You hear that?
I'm sorry, I don't hear anything.
This is a stain. This is a stain. Well, you would if I was
you go
playing
have a
it.
bite, come back, you still be hearing that one.
You go have you got a bite to eat, come back. That's still be going. I'll still be playing. That's what I was thinking of when you talked about Prince. There, it's so funny. Oh my God. Well, you know what? What I did appreciate about Prince, though, I got to say, and it's, again back to the sort of a little bit of a Kiss influence. I think like some of the videos he portrayed what the live show would look like. And I thought the costumes and the elegance of the show looked kind of cool. That did look cool. I just never saw. I just think people just. I just don't like it when. I never like it when people put people way too high on a pedestal. And I think.
Well, the thing about Prince is that he's a character. I mean, he's not even using his real name, and I don't think anyone knows his real name.
Right.
When you come out as Prince, immediately people are saying, what the frig is this? you got to take notice, at least for a short time, to make an evaluation on whether you like it or not. He's a character.
Yeah.
And then the movie even propelled that to a whole new level. In the movie, he didn't have a name. He was called the Kid.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So here's this musician who, and I have great respect for Prince as a musician. I think he does amazing work, even though he's weird and he looks funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, no one knows his name. He comes out as Prince, so there's a character immediately. Now he's playing a character in a movie who has no name. He's known as the Kid, which is completely autobiographical. He's basically playing the Prince rock star on a much, much smaller scale. He's almost like small town Wisconsin kind of thing. But I don't know where it's set. But anyway, it's weird. The whole Prince thing, there's no one else like Prince, is there?
No.
He's totally unique. So whether he's overrated or underrated, I don't know. He's like outside the whole domain of Rockstar. He's like on this different level and plane altogether.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's definitely, yeah, there's no question he's unique. And again, when I compare, I just wouldn't put him on the same shelf as like people like the Beatles or Elvis or Michael Jackson, or I just didn't see him being there, and I just got the. To me, I feel that's kind of where he's been placed, and that's why he's on my list. It's not that I don't really have anything against the guy. I mean, at least now I know why doves cry.
Well, at least I know what it sounds like when doves cry.
That was on The Simpsons, eh?
Was it?
Yes.
Everything gets on The Simpsons.
No, I know why doves cry. Little Millhouse says.
And you know what? That was a good Homer impersonation. So that was a Homer quote.
Actually, it was a Millhouse quote. So
was it Millhouse?
Yeah, as a little kid said that as he was crying. Now I know why doves cry. He says.
Well, here's another name on your list that's, and I agree with you, but it's going to kick up a lot of shit.
Good.
With the diehard rockers.
Uh-oh.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I've always felt he was overrated in everything.
As a guitar player, he's so overrated. I mean, if I have to hear Clapton is God one more time, no, Clapton is not God. Clapton is good. Just add another O and you've got it. Clapton is good. He's not God.
No, he's not God. Not from an electric
Eddie
guitar.
Van Halen is God.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Eddie, it would be Randy Rhoads. And if it wasn't for Randy Rhoads, it would be Jimmy Page. Come on.
Well,
Clapton has great style. He's a blues man. I really loved his Unplugged. He's got some pop tunes that I like, and I think, he definitely should be respected by any guitar player out there, but he's not God.
No.
I've said it.
There you
Move
go.
on.
I'm ducking for the moment, and then I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Now I'm back. I agree.
Hey, I got a joke for you.
Oh, no.
You ready for me, Riddle? Right. God and Lemmy get into a fight. Who wins?
Lemmy.
Oh, it's a trick question because Lemmy is God.
Never heard that one before.
Never heard that one?
I thought you were going to say Ditka. Ditka one.
God and Lemmy get into
No,
it.
I never heard that. No.
Oh, okay, anyway.
Yeah, well,
That's a Lemmy joke.
But Clapton, to me, again, he's one of those. He's like he reminds me of Carlos Santana in a way, in that people from a guitar perspective, as an artist. I mean, certainly Eric Clapton, very successful artist, of course, right? I mean, he's a better songwriter, I think, than he is a guitar player, and he just doesn't. I don't know why. He was just. He came out of the '60s being thought of as this electric guitar guy, and I just think that sticks to people. Like, it's one of those things that it's a like I said, it's a reputation that people earn that they don't necessarily deserve for the right reasons. And I can't really think of really any lead guitar fantastic. Like, I can think like Jimmy Page. I can think of Stairway to Heaven. I can think of Black Dog. I can think of different lead guitar songs that signature leads that he would have played and written. You know what I mean? And Eric just doesn't have as many of those. Like, maybe White Room has some, but it's not even. It's just jamming. It's not really right. It's an average guitar player with a wah pedal could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that,
no, Clapton has this much more. It's a huge overinflated respect by guitar players.
Yeah.
Which I just don't get. To me, the most underrated guitar player in rock and roll is Lindsey Buckingham, and I have a huge respect for Lindsey, and I'm in awe at some of the things, some of these little obscure things on Fleetwood Mac albums, or even the old Buckingham Nicks album.
Yeah.
The guy is amazing on guitar. I'd like to see Clapton try to pull off what Lindsey Buckingham was doing.
I'm sure he couldn't, and I don't think. And it's and I'm not going to dispute that at all, because Lindsey's not. He's not even thought of as a guitar player.
No, he's not.
Right.
He's a member of Fleetwood Mac.
Right, he's in-
See,
I
that's the
understand.
thing. Fleetwood Mac is bigger than Lindsey
Yeah,
Buckingham's
yeah.
guitar playing.
Yes.
And yet I think Lindsey Buckingham's guitar playing is better than Clapton's guitar playing, and Clapton is God.
Well, and you know, and at the end of
At least people think he
yeah,
is.
I mean, we could find a million guitar players that are better than Eric Clapton, and other guitar players, and it's just more about like this Today Show is more about debunking like our opinions of the earned reputation versus realism, right?
Well, you know, I've taught media studies, and I've also taught a few courses where we talk about the thing called a phenomenon. And one of the biggest phenomenons we talk about in pop culture is the fact, you know, the rock star or the movie star. That's a phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't exist before the 50s. I mean, you know, someone like Elvis Presley is a star, and that didn't exist before Elvis. Really, he's one of the first pop idols. So no one was a phenomenon is something that comes along and no one expects it. And I think that the way that society or the way that the public reacts to, let's just use Clapton as an example. I don't know if this makes any sense or not, but the way that the public has reacted to Clapton may have almost defined Clapton's career.
Yes.
You know, and that's the phenomenon right there.
Interesting.
Is the way that the public reaction has almost guided the pathway of your career. And you could apply that to Dylan.
Definitely.
You could apply that to Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
You could apply that to any of these artists and
True.
bands that we've mentioned today.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's the way that the public following, I mean, case in point, Grateful Dead. I don't think anyone in Grateful Dead was doing anything phenomenal that no other average musician could pull off. And why do they have this enormous, huge following? There's been books written about Grateful Dead. Everyone's got a Grateful Dead sticker on their car. That's the phenomenon. It's not the band, it's the following.
Right.
Is the
right,
phenomenon.
right. That's very in because I was looking at when I in preparation for this show, and you know, and I was looking at like sort of top 100 influential artists, and what I noticed was in many, and I was also looking at, you know, people who are playing concerts these days, and I noticed it was an interesting phenomena that all of the concert listings that you get at the top of all these listings are all people like Maroon 5 and like what's her face, Jennifer Lopez. So you know, Pharrell, all of the people who are cross promotionalized on shows like The Voice, you know, Keith Urban. You know, all these people that are on American Idol, and you know, that's what it's become. It's become this whole thing now.
Well, it's a circus, is what it is.
Well, it's not really about being a songwriter anymore.
No.
It's about being a personality and promoting that. And can you imagine? I mean, the Jennifer Lopez tour. I don't know, what would that look like? You know, I mean, you know, and
I can picture it.
we were talking about asses earlier, or was that the last show?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, but
You can't compare any artist who's out there today who's got, you know, some success, any degree of success and notoriety. You can't even compare the world that they're working in to someone like Dylan or the Doors in the 60s,
right.
because you're dealing with a completely different circus altogether.
Yeah.
It's like comparing, you know, I don't know, try to find an analogy and won't come up with a smart one. But I mean, you can't compare, because today you've got so many different platforms by which these people are working and exposed, not just the internet and social media. But when you mention a show like The Voice, okay, so they put Pharrell Williams on The Voice.
Yeah.
Well, why?
Right.
Why did you put him there? Why
Yeah.
didn't you put someone else?
Right.
Why Pharrell Williams?
Right.
To me, the only thing I've ever heard by Pharrell Williams is that stupid Happy song. And I swear, if I hear that song one more time on the radio, I'm going to crash into a friggin' signpost. That is the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Now, here's a little personal bit on that. Okay. I used to be in a band with a singer named Kim. So Kim and I were heading out to the bass player's place one night to have a little jam, and this song Happy comes on. And to me, it irritated the hell out of me. And I thought, what a stupid song. And Kim goes, yeah, it's kind of dumb, isn't it? And I said, yeah, think I'm happy 'cause I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. And that, to me, that's just stupid. Anyway, I know the world loves the song, so send your hate mail. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. Now, their bass player actually works in FM radio, so he's totally in tune with everything that's hip and hot. and he's got a real resilience for anything. I mean, he's just one of those guys who likes everything. So he's basically celebrating this song, and Kim was agreeing with him. And I said, Kim, you were in the car with me about a month ago and agreed that was a stupid song. So the fact that everybody jumps on this bandwagon and embraces this song, it gets you to, excuse the pun, it gets you to change your tune on how you feel about things. I don't like Pharrell Williams. He can sing, sure, but why is he on The Voice? Why not someone else?
It's a whole different, like you said, there's a different cause and effect, right? The cause and effect in the 60s and 70s, if you will, used to have to be, it started from, do you need to be a performer? Do you need to have image? Yes, you did, but there was much more, a bigger percentage of it was whether or not the music you were creating had value and had resonated with people.
And add to it, I mean, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, people could depend on album sales for income. That's not, you don't sell albums anymore. People might sell a 99-cent download of their song, but someone like Pharrell Williams, he's probably going to make more money on a TV show. Right, there's a contract right there. These people are making more money touring than they are selling albums. Because no one's buying albums anymore.
No.
Gene Simmons said it himself. He said rock is dead. Well, I don't know if rock is dead, but the music industry is dying, and it's through piracy and copying. But I mean, why would anyone? Here's another show topic I want to get onto: is why would anyone buy music today? I mean, if there's a song on the radio that I enjoyed, I can just bring it up on YouTube and listen to it anytime I want.
I do it because I only buy music because I want to support the artist. Like I actually buy CDs.
I will buy local.
I buy
will
CDs.
Buy local music.
I buy CDs.
Yeah.
And then
you still buy CDs? I don't think I've bought a CD in 10 years.
I just do for the very reason. I do because I want the artist to be around. So, and then what I do immediately.
Okay, you're supporting your music.
Yeah. So
I've bought local CDs. I'll support the local guys.
Well, what I do though is the first thing I do is it's just that's my methodology. I just buy the CD and then I put it on my MP3 player.
Yeah.
But then I listen to it there, right? And so, but it's interesting. So.
Well, here's something I've said to some people.
What?
I mean, have you ever illegally downloaded music?
I
have. I'll admit that
I haven't.
Okay.
No,
now, here's what I've downloaded. I've downloaded all the stuff I listened to in the 70s. I've downloaded my Kiss, my Boston, my Ted Nugent, my Cheap Trick, my Pink Floyd, my Led Zeppelin. Do I feel bad about it? No, and I'll tell you why.
You bought it 6 times.
I've bought the Boston album. I bought it on album, on record album.
Kiss
right?
Alive about 3 times.
And then when I had a car, I needed it on cassette, so I bought the same album again on cassette. Well, I probably made a cassette. But when they all came out on disc, you bought them on CD because now you want that pristine sound with no degradation in quality whatsoever. So some of these albums I've bought 3 times. So yes, I've paid for that music 3 times when I only should have paid for it once. So do I feel bad that I downloaded that illegally? No, not really. So there's another show topic. Right
well, and I actually, like I said, I haven't. Right, it's not since actually I go back to Napster was the first time I was involved in that.
Yeah,
that goes back a way. So there you go, Jeff. I mean, there's I mean, again, certainly be interested to hear what people have to say, and the comments are be really interesting because this is obviously a topic that is based on personal taste. And actually, in reality, is like I said, we don't take anything too seriously. So I mean, I'm never gonna trash anybody for being a Doors fan. I'm just explaining why I don't get it. And
that's what that's the topic of this whole show. Is I don't get that.
There you go. I don't get it.
I don't get that.
I don't get that. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think
you know what it means. It means we should listen to these artists more, and maybe
you
we will
should.
Get it.
I listen to some of them. That's why I'm cool, Uncle Jeff, and you're not, because I actually do stay in touch.
I don't have time to listen to music.
Yeah, you're not cool, so you got to be cool to do that.
Yeah,
it takes effort to be cool.
It does.
You can't just jump on.
I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
You should be like me.
I should be like.
You have to be more like me. Jump on bandwagons. Get a bill.
Jump on a plane and go to the Bermuda.
To go to Bahamas or maybe
Bahamas.
Maybe in Barbados.
Where was it?
I was in Barbados. Yeah.
Barbados.
Yeah. Poor me.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, any other last minute bands you want to do?
We're running out of time. But I mean, I had bands like Madonna and Lady Gaga and REM and Oasis. Anything in any hip hop, any rap, pretty much. I think it's overrated.
Well, you take the whole hip hop and rap thing there. I mean, I don't get any of that. But that's not my generation.
Yeah.
These kids today that I teach, they just embrace that, and they have ever since I started teaching rap. has been this force to be reckoned with,
Yeah.
and I never liked it. I don't think I ever will like it.
Hey, so
But the kids love it, and
Yeah.
that's all that counts.
You know what? I just said that, and then I like a band like Linkin Park. Like I like Linkin Park, and they blend heavy rock with hip hop and rap, and I like that. So it's kind of funny. I said that, and yet, I kind of like Korn. So maybe I'm being a hypocrite here, but I don't know.
The corn on the cob.
Jeez, see. You can't be cool. You can't be cool and say stuff like that.
I know,
corn
I
on the
know,
cob.
stupid.
I like the corn on the cob. I like the corn on the cob. It's good. It gets in my teeth, though, so I take my teeth off before I eat the corn on the cob.
Got any floss?
Got any floss? That's right. I floss between periods. So, okay, anyway. Ow.
Okay,
There we go.
well,
Enough.
this has been another edition of Radio
Yes.
Blah Blah. Jeff Scott in New Brunswick, Canada.
And Jeff Gray in Stewiacke, Nova Scotia, Canada.
All right. So, all right, we'll see you next time, Jeff.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, even if you're not in Scotland.
That's right. Bye.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Blah, blah.